Hi everybody, it's Christopher and welcome to Life's Not Over, It Just Looks Different on YouTube. In today's video, I want to talk about money. Now, I'm not going to talk about how to make money or the next get-rich-quick scheme, anything like that. I want to talk about the physical attributes of Canadian money and what I like about them and how they help me out as a person with sight loss. So let's start with the bills. Now, we don't really have paper money anymore. Canada, many years ago, moved to this sort of polymer plastic type bill. But one of the things I love about money in Canada, it's sometimes referred to as monopoly money because it has different colors. So let's take a look at what we have. As I reach into my pocket, the first one that I've pulled out here is a nice $5 bill. Nice blue color. It's a little bit translucent. You can sort of see through it. And one of the things that it has on it is it has this sort of tactile braille element that you can actually feel it to know which bill this is once you sort of become accustomed to what you're feeling for. And the 5 has one of them. And the thing I like about them being on these plastic bills now is that it actually holds up much better. That braille sort of element or that tactile element stays much more rigid than it used to when it was in the paper money. The next one we have here, actually we won't do that one next, we'll do this one next. The next one we have is a $20 bill, which is a lovely green color. Oh, don't turn the queen upside down, that's rude. And this one here still has the tactile element. There are 3 of them on here. They're a little bit spaced apart. This bill has seen a lot more wear and tear because these ones are much more worn away, but they are still present. So you can check it out. And you know, it's a nice green color, which makes it stand out from the blue of the 5. And then we have a 50. Now the 50 is a lovely shade of red, and I like red. It's my favorite color, not just because it's on the $50 bill. It's a great color. And this one also has a fairly crisp braille tactile element to it over here in this corner. There's another one here, a third one over here that you can sort of feel and touch and know that they're there. They're a little worn, but they're still sort of crisp too. So I like the fact that these are different colors. I know some people call it monopoly money, but you know what? It's, as a person with partial sight and some usable color vision, actually I can see primary colors pretty well and then secondary colors sort of well. For me, it's actually really easy to be able to tell a 50 from a 5 from the green of a 20. So now let's talk about coins. Now, the coins, what I love about coins is you actually don't even have to look at them. You can feel them to know what they are, not just by their size, but by their tactile edges. So I've got a whole bunch of coins here. And I'm just going to sort of randomly pick one and we'll see what I pick and we'll talk about it as we go. So the first one that I've got here is a dime. The dime is small, just like a dime down in the United States. It's relatively the same size. And this one has a nice serrated edge all the way around it so that it's pretty easy to recognize as a dime. Next, we'll take, let's see, we're going to do this one. So next, we've pulled out a nickel here. Now the nickel, a little bit bigger than the dime, has a very smooth round edge all the way around. So you can feel that it's really nice and smooth and you can tell quickly that that is a nickel. And then just because I found this in a jar when I was preparing to do this video, I have a penny, the little copper penny. Now in Canada, we haven't produced any pennies since 2013. They're no longer in distribution. They're no longer being handed out, but I still happen to have a few around. There was a time when pennies had a bit of an edge to them, but this one is nice and smooth and smaller. It's slightly larger than the dime, but smaller than the nickel. And then we have a couple other things here too. We have a quarter, and a quarter, again, relatively the same size as a quarter in the United States. A little thinner though. I find US quarters are a little bit thicker. This has a nice serrated edge all the way around it. And one of the things I like, or when I think of a quarter, is back in the days when I was a kid, on the Canadian segment, one of the Canadian segments of Sesame Street, They used to do a little song about quarters, and it said, "A quarter has a caribou on it, on it. A quarter has a caribou." And there was an animated caribou that said, "That's me." It was fun. Great memories. Now, in Canada, we have done away with $1 and $2 bills. They haven't been in circulation for a very long time. Gosh, for the $1 coin, I think it's almost 40 years now. Holy smokes. I just thought of that as we were doing this. Anyway, so here is a Canadian $1 coin. It's sort of a nice goldish, copperish color. And it has 11 sides on it. No, I didn't count them. I just heard that piece of trivia somewhere, and it's just kind of stuck with me all that time that the what we call the loonie, because it has a loon on one side as an animal, has the queen on the other side, but it has a loon on it, so we call it a loonie, and it has 11 sides that you can feel. So then, after the success of rolling out the loonie, the Canadian government and the Bank of Canada, in a way of saving money, decided that we were going to eliminate the $2 bill as well. So then they rolled out a $2 coin. Now, a $2 coin has this centerpiece in it. Has a polar bear on one side and the queen on the other. It's bigger than the loonie. And as far as edges go, it's a bit of a hybrid. It's serrated, then flat, then serrated, then flat, and you can feel it all the way around. With my partial vision, I can also see that it's got the center, because the center is a different color than the silver outer side. When they first rolled these out, gosh, that was in the 90s, I guess. When they first rolled these out, these centerpieces, there was a bit of a manufacturing flaw that they used to pop out. They've corrected that, and it doesn't pop out anymore. I remember when it was popping out, the government was putting up messaging saying, "Don't do that." It wasn't our fault that they sometimes fell out. Come on now. Anyway, so this is a $2 coin in Canada that we lovingly call a toonie. Why do we call it a toonie? Well, because it was the $2 version of the $1 coin, and the other was a loonie. This is a toonie. So this is how the toonie got its nickname, as opposed to getting sort of a name like a polar. That is our Canadian toonie. Quick story for you about using coins. I often would reach into my pocket and kind of feel the coins as I was standing in a lineup somewhere waiting to go into a store, or waiting to pay for something at a kiosk or anything like that. And so I would take the coins out and I would be feeling them with my hand so that I could know what coins I was handing out when I got to the counter and it was my turn to pay. And I remember being in a store and one cashier saw me doing this. I guess I was, second or third customer in line, and she saw me sort of take the coins out and feel them, and I wasn't really looking at them. And so when I got up to pay, she asked me what I was doing. And I said, well, I was feeling the different edges to know which coins to give you when I got here. And she just thought that was the coolest thing ever. That is everything I wanted to share in today's video. I want to thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate each and every one of you who watches these videos, who has clicked like down below or subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much for doing so. I really do appreciate it. And I hope you have a wonderful day.